Colin Kaepernick. Does that name ring a bell? Because my man has been in the headlines again. Colin is now a tech founder, has raised $4 million to create basically a AI-powered platform for storytellers and creators. And notable angel investors have backed Lumi. 776, Alexis Ohanian-led venture capital firm. Alexis Ohanian is the co-founder of Reddit. You and Lumi are depowering storytellers. You are promoting the theft of art, and you're telling every working artist on the planet that they have no value in your eyes.
Art is a sensitive subject.
So if I told you the Mona Lisa was AI created, would you still value it in the same way?
I was going to say I think it would lose value.
I do agree.
Yeah.
Is Colin the right here? Is he the right founder for this? Really curious to hear anyone's thoughts who's tuned in the podcast. My name's Noah Lack.
And I'm Josip Vrankic.
And we're guest co-hosts of the Athletes and Assets podcast, where we bring athletes on to chat about a business they're building, or we just chat about different topics.
It up, man. Yeah,
we just chat about it. Today, interesting conversation. We got a big one. I think this story has been under the rug a bit because of the Olympics, because other things that are overshadowing it.
A lot of stuff going on.
I still think it's significant.
Yeah?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop right in. Skip the small talk.
Skip the small talk. You still say that at the beginning of your stuff?
Yes, I do. Jesus
Every
Christ.
single one? You didn't say it when...
I did. I said a little bit in the last episode.
You said skip the small talk?
Yes.
I don't know if you said that verbatim.
Run the tape back. Run the tape back. Run through the tape.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Kaepernick. Does that name ring a bell? Because my man has been in the headlines again for something controversial, at least to folks in the comic community, and we'll go and explain that. But Josip, you remember Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, I do remember Colin Kaepernick.
He was nice.
He was tough.
Scramble, could throw the ball, could run you over a little bit.
That was before I got into football and I heard about him. So, that was a big deal.
Super Bowl appearance, the 49ers.
Yep.
Storied career at Nevada.
He was a baller.
An accuser of being blackballed from the NFL because of his open comments around, political issues.
Yeah.
Big afro out there. Dog.
Yeah.
Inspiration, everything.
Yep.
I think he's polarizing. So that's why I use different words, to describe, remember this whole time of him sort of leading the social justice movements. So he's definitely not afraid to speak his mind.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Say what you want about him.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for what he's done.
Absolutely.
Colin, no longer in the NFL. So what does the guy do?
You tell me.
Colin is now a tech founder. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And Colin has raised $4 million to create basically a AI-powered platform for storytellers and creators, particularly in the comic space.
Okay.
And so this is called Lumi, and it's revolutionizing the creation and publishing process. And so Lumi, the company, empowers creators with tools to independently create, publish, and merchandise digital and physical comics. So venture capital firms, this is VC backed, and notable angel investors have backed Lumi, such as 776, Alexis Ohanian-led venture capital firm. Alexis Ohanian is the co-founder of Reddit and the husband of Serena Williams.
Big time.
I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. Chameleonaire, my guy.
That's your guy, huh?
Chamele. Come on, what's the word?
What's the word?
Tech execs from Meta, Anthropic. These are large companies. Contextual AI, Sleeper Pave, David C. I don't know how to say his last name.
Don't do it.
Whoa. Mariam Nafisi, co-founder of Minted. Anyways.
It's big time, yeah. It's the high level stuff.
So, it's an empowering tool.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. AI is here.
Correct.
In media all the time now, we're seeing ways to leverage AI to publish, create faster, better. Mm-hmm. But what AI has been is disrupted, a lot of jobs.
Yeah, I can see the backlash with different, media makers and, like you said, in the comic world specifically, that could get a little frustrated. It's taking kind of the human element out of creating these stories. I mean, when I was younger, I used to like even now, you're reading books and you're falling in love with the story as much as the storyteller, the author behind the book. So that aspect is being lost, but it is a very interesting tool. Like it is, I can see why it's kind of controversial. Not kind of, I can see why it is controversial. But it's interesting how it's going to grow. Like in what aspect in life and in the world will you use this tool? Would it be, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before, but would it be, for kids in a school environment, in order to create certain documents and media outlets, or would it be used by content creators? Or, I think there's a bunch of branches that you can take with this that's why it's going to be popular, I think.
And to provide more context here, so big release during Comic-Con in terms of the headlines. Comic-Con was in San Diego, huge, obviously gathering of comic book creators, fans, publishers. But when we say controversy, some of the comments have been made are interesting. And I'm going to read off some of them.
You have some? Yeah, I was going to say, I want to hear some.
You and Lumi are depowering storytellers. You are promoting the theft of art. And you're telling every working artist on the planet they have no value in your eyes. Take that $4 million in capital and invest in artists rather than a machine that steals from them. I keep rereading your tweet and I'm reading comments.
Okay.
Quote, I keep rereading your tweet and it becomes more nonsensical each time. Creators can already create and own their own work. The important part is that they put the time in to learn their craft. Like an athlete would, for example. Comment number 3, and I'll take a pause.
Okay, take a little break.
1, AI is theft. 2, creators can't own work created by AI. 3, you can't be pro-creator and use tool that's a pro-creator and use tools that steal from creators. Interesting. 4, no one needs Lumi to be a storyteller. They can already be storytellers regardless of skill set. Storytelling does not require advanced ability, which
it's true, but it makes the process easier, especially when you're trying to do these different graphics and different merchandising and stuff. You got to go through a lot of channels. So I think the goal for what he wanted to do is kind of have everything accessible in one platform, which, as mentioned, takes away so many different jobs and opportunity for other people.
And I think that last comment, that last word, storytelling does not require advanced ability, which isn't that the point? It's the point of the platform.
Yeah.
If you don't have that advanced ability to publish your own comic, you could, theoretically use their product to make anyone can be
as simple as possible.
A creator.
Yeah.
I think that people are uncomfortable with the barrier to entry to this stuff being so low now.
Yeah.
And I understand. You worked your whole life to become a boxer and be incredible at your craft. And then Jake Paul comes in and makes more money than you do and takes your it's the same thing.
In a span of a year. Yeah, like that.
That's life.
That's life.
Like, fuck. Like, I understand that, creating comics, it's an old school, it's a way of, comics have been around forever. Yeah. Very old school. Like I used to read the, who was that cat? It was the Garfield.
Yeah.
Remember the Diary of the Wimpy Kid? It's not a comic, but kind of have the comic vibes.
Yeah.
A lot of the superhero movies,
those are all
based off the comics.
Yeah.
I think you're not going to stop this.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if Colin's not going to do it, someone else is.
Yeah.
And the way we're making media, the way creators are creating, this is the only way it's going to go.
AI changed the game.
It did.
It's like this world is totally different. Like even like me, for example, the way I live my life, I don't rely on ChatGPT, but it just makes things so much easier.
I use it a lot.
It makes things so much easier. And I don't know if it's sad to say or not, but it's true though. Like as humans, you want tools that make your life easier. Like it's just as simple as I can put it. So having those resources are super beneficial.
With art, I think there's an ethical concern here.
Yeah.
I think it's like an ethics thing.
Art is a sensitive subject.
So if I told you the Mona Lisa was AI created, would you still value it in the same way?
I was going to say I think it would lose value.
I agree. I do agree.
Yeah. There's something about a painter painting something that adds to the element of like the piece itself.
If
the amount of hours, all that stuff, like each stroke, like it's like I feel like it adds to the work being put.
Here's another one. You ever read back when we like used to read newspapers and not scroll through Twitter? Do you ever read like the comics on the back on Sundays?
Yeah, I remember.
You know that you do
I know,
remember
I know
that
what
at
you're
least?
talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, what if I told you, if you're a Garfield fan, what if I told you like the latest edition of Garfield was AI made?
Yeah, that's tough.
How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's
what's your favorite comic? Like, are you not a comic guy?
I'm not a comic guy.
Okay.
I read there's a book called Bones that I read in middle school. It's like a comic but a novel kind of.
Yeah.
So it's constructed like a comic, but it's like a thick book, like a novel. And that to me was, growing up, that was one of my most favorite things to read.
Leveling the playing field. I think that it's a big issue here. A source of controversy. For athletes, I think this is how they get ahead. This is how this is a way for them to help with their storytelling. Especially, we talked about previously, the Olympians that don't come in with a lot of money.
Yeah.
How do you find ways to capture?
You saying that is pretty cool. Having like a comic book about an Olympic experience and then creating like some merchandising of that, or being a little kid growing up in whatever atmosphere you grew up in, and then having that publicized and then getting merchandise out of that is that'd be pretty cool to see. I wonder how, because someone mentioned that in one of the comments you said, it mentioned that you can't own AI or something like that. Like if AI produces a product, you're unable to own it. Is that?
I think ownership,
I'm curious. Yeah.
I think intellectual property or rights to certain what you create is a very interesting topic, because you can't ask OpenAI to make a picture of you, LeBron James. There's legal, they need to be able to legally do that. Like you
can't own that picture.
Yeah.
You can go, I'm pretty sure you can go somewhere, just type in like LeBron James with a hat and it'll show up, right?
I'll show you right now.
LeBron James with a hat AI.
I'll show you right now.
Okay, show me.
Make me a photo of LeBron James. I can't create or display images correctly. I thought 4.0 can do that. Fucking hell.
You just thought you went crazy?
I just thought I went
crazy. No, I'm going to be honest. When you were typing that out, you're like, oh, watch this. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. This guy thought he went crazy just now.
This is...
I've seen videos on... I've seen pictures on Twitter and stuff of AI-generated photos.
Yeah, this is a swath of... This is a lot of lawsuits waiting to happen.
A lot of stuff going around. Because you create something, like they create something off the AI that they're using, and then they merchandise it, and then they sell the merchandise.
Yeah.
How does that work? Where does, who gets the revenue? Is it, you know what I mean?
I'd like to zoom out here and for those who are listening, and innovation, the best stuff that's created, I will say, is very disruptive.
Yeah.
Facebook has been constantly, when it's invasion of privacy,
all that stuff,
too much online knowledge, too much online exposure. Uber, the creation of Uber, car rideshare in different places around the world.
Sus, yeah.
At some point, that was very controversial. Self-driving cars, driverless cars.
I'm not bought in yet. We talked about it last time. I'm not bought in.
This is still controversial.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm a little jaded because in San Francisco, it's cool, yeah, everywhere. I'll take a Waymo.
You can Uber on those?
No. You need Waymo. That's Google.
There's a Waymo app.
Yeah.
You hop in, I need a ride from boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's cheaper? Free?
I think it's open now to the public, so we can find out later.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. But no, it's going to be a disruptive product for sure.
I'm really interested to see who uses it and how they use it. Because the concept is cool. It is a cool concept.
Yeah.
I'm just so curious to see who would benefit from that, who would purchase the merchandise, where would those comics be uploaded to? Would they become comic books that you sell in comic book stores? Would they be only an online thing? Very interested to see and what merchandise are we talking, what are we talking about? Clothes, like all around. I'm just very
I think all around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Storytelling, does it become too inauthentic?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that question out there.
I think so. I think a story gains its value from the authenticity of the person telling it. Like that holds. You see in these podcasts, we've heard the Jimmy Butler story so many times on TV.
Yeah.
The second you hear Jeff Teague talk about it, it becomes a viral clip just because how the story is portrayed and how it's said.
Because he's how he tells it. How he tells it. He does a good job.
I don't think AI is going to have that authenticity. And also,
if AI tried to recreate the Jeff Teague story, would we think of it as in the same? Even if it had Jeff Teague's exact
words,
mannerisms, words, would we find that?
But in the back of your mind, it's AI. It makes it so funny. Jeff Teague was there. You know what I'm saying? He saw that.
He was there.
You saw that happen. You saw his experience. You saw his reaction. He was on the team. He knows the best.
Yeah.
And let's say he put that into that application or into that platform.
Yeah.
How does that differentiate from him telling it?
Do you still feel that same value knowing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is a middle ground here.
Absolutely.
I think there's a middle ground. I just with a lot of things. I think humans need to be that authentic voice.
Yeah.
But they can leverage AI for the stuff that's maybe we don't care about as much. That's why the editing.
Yeah, that's why this is going to be so polarizing, just because how interesting and how many sides and angles people can take. You got the really good, the really bad. It's kind of all over the place.
Where I'm excited to see AI editing go?
Talk to me.
Podcasting, being able to edit podcasts without a producer. Is that going to happen? Because we're still, the podcast will still show us. We're still but AI tools, using that as a tool to help with content creation. I'm personally more excited about that.
You would trust something? Aren't there sources available like that?
No. First of all, let me be very clear. I still don't trust anything of that nature yet.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we're going.
Okay. I appreciate the human touch, and these podcast editors are so talented in finding clips, making them entertaining, and doing stuff like that. It's interesting to see if AI is able to replicate it, which I'm sure now there are a bunch of tools that people are using. But I appreciate more knowing that it's done by.
Let me ask you, I think you've answered this a little bit. As a professional basketball player, has AI come into your life at all? Have you ever crossed paths with using something AI?
I'm trying to think if it's used.
Is it just ChatGPT?
ChatGPT. I'm trying to think if it's used in, or I'm trying to think Catapult, stuff like that. That's not AI. Data analytics, that's not AI. I wouldn't be surprised in the next few years if they're doing they type in a team's. I'm very interested to see if they can find a way to use AI to organize and sort data in basketball. So you're going up against the Golden State Warriors, right? And I'm the Lakers. I throw all of their stats into AI, and then as a result, they tell me, okay, in order to stop this team, you run this defense, this offense. I don't know if that sounds
it's like being built here.
That might be doing too much.
No, it's being.
Okay.
It's like being built in this building.
Okay.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Not the concept is there's tons of. Are you talking about tracking using film to create
stuff
data insights?
Exactly. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, bro. There's Hawkeye. There's
to create a scouting report just based off stats and just film alone. I don't know about
the written scouting report part, but certainly the data insights for sure. That's already
data insights is used. That's used for everything. Yeah. I know my coach in Spain is obsessed with data, and he's really good at it.
Yeah,
but I don't know where else I would use AI in sports at least. I don't know.
No worries. I'm just curious because maybe there's something that that's not obvious that you were thinking about.
I was talking to your brother about it, and he mentioned, we're talking about same thing. Like how AI is being used to, for podcasts and stuff like this. He's like, how'd you feel if like a robot just came and took your spot as like an athlete? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that's kind of what's happening to like these podcast editors and these like comic book people, And I was like, yeah, I think that's a little bit way too advanced. I don't know exactly
also, if I was talking to a fucking robot right now, we'd go from 4 views to no views. like you're not gonna get replaced by a robot. I promise you, pal. Your spot is safe here.
I'm not worried about that. It's just what your intern said. He told me to bring that up and see if that was part of the conversation.
Yeah. But
that's why he's not talking.
That's why he's downstairs and we're up. But no, this is good. I think interesting news about the Lumi AI and Colin Kaepernick's journey. Another source of controversy for Colin Kaepernick. Always finds a way, good or bad, to be in the headlines. Yeah. And I think with this, unless he does something explicitly bad, all publicity is good publicity. I think for him, especially as the raise is $4 million. He may want to raise more. This may be his chance now that's in the headlines. It's polarizing to raise more if he decides to do so. So I don't know what his strategy is there. I can't speak for him, but fundraising there's different tactics.
You had one of your former guests was big into AI. Remember we talked about that last time with the stocks and stuff or something like that? The football player.
Oh, yeah, Alex. Alex, yeah.
I'm wondering how many athletes are investing in AI and...
Oh, there's a ton.
There's a ton, right? There's
a ton now through venture capital. So through funds, but also, themselves, the ones that are super educated. I mean, you got to be you can't just like invest in anything with a .ai domain, right?
You feel like you need to know what's going on a little bit.
You do. You got to
investing in.
That requires, it still requires a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
To understand and educate. But I think a lot of firms are doing a good job bringing in athletes and like filling them in on what's going on. Mm-hmm. And we'll continue to do so more and more.
Yeah, AI in sports is interesting. I don't know how it can be applied, but it's curious to see how that's kind of gonna go. Also, I mean, in video games.
Yeah,
like that I didn't even think about that. That's all AI.
Yeah.
So that'll be
AI once again, like AI and like making the video game. So maybe not something as a consumer we'd see. Correct. But the final product was made like through AI. I also see a lot of here in the studio, we see a lot of virtual reality. Yeah. So, playing through the MetaQuest, that's popular. But yeah, I think that ties a bow on what Colin's doing, and let us know what you think about Lumi and in the comments. Is this something that you think is not ethical? Ethical? Is Colin the right here? Is he the right founder for this? Really curious to hear anyone's thoughts who's tuning in the podcast. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been another great episode with Noah Lack and
Josip Rankic,
guest co-host of the Athletes and Assets podcast. Stay tuned and please give us a like, subscribe, follow to the pod. Come on, man. You're late.
Help a brother out, man.
Help a brother out.